And there we are, against all odds, because Discord really didn't want this to happen originally. but
Yeah, it did not.
but we're here on episode, I think, 154. So that's a number that
That's a
exists.
lot of episodes.
That's what they keep saying, but the number keeps growing. So
People have been saying this.
I'm also far less sick this week. Yay!
Thank
Let's
goodness.
go. Because I was rough last time, but the show must go on, of course.
For sure.
Well, enough about me. How about you introduce yourself here?
Oh, hi. I'm Maxi. I speedrun a lot of horror games and also some non-horror games.
That's like
I've been
every
doing it
game
for like a
ever.
long time. That's like, yeah, that's every game.
Wow. It's crazy. So, yeah, I'm not very familiar with horror games because not my type of genre. And when you think about it, you don't really think, ooh, speedrun. But, ooh, speedrun, I've heard also.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we'll definitely get into that. But, yep, welcome everyone. And I'll jump in with the first question, as always, is how did you discover this beautiful hobby?
Well, speaking of getting sick,
Ah, okay.
I was super sick when I found speedrunning. I had just gotten my wisdom teeth removed,
Mm,
and I was doing a really bad job at taking care of my like my sockets and stuff. So I ended up getting super sick from it. And then I was just in bed, like I had so much time to just waste. So I was just playing a bunch of games, watching movies, watching TV, and I was getting bored of the games I was playing at the current time. So I was like, okay, let me revisit some classics. So I booted up RE4 um, for the billionth time,
hmm.
and I looked on YouTube because I was curious, like, what are some things that I might not know about this game that I can check out this time around? And I found the first thing that I found was a bunch of videos related to the Ditman glitch. And that's a glitch that makes you go like 140% speed.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. Like, what is this used for though, other than like being super OP Leon? And a bunch of the recommended videos back in early 2015 when the recommended video feature was like really good.
Hmm.
It linked a bunch of speed runs, and I didn't know what a speed run was. So I was like, okay, what's that? Click on it. New game plus speedrun of RE4, and I didn't understand what I was looking at first with like the splits and this person with their webcam, and it was very new to me, but I was seeing their gameplay and I was like, "Oh, wow. I want to recreate that. I can learn this maybe." So I kind of dug into it, and then I found like the games done quick RE4 run that Sunblade did. That was also in the recommended to this run that I watched. And I was like, "Oh, what is this? Games done quick. Ooh, ooh, new things, new
Hmm.
things." Click on the games done quick, and I see there's a crowd, and like it's like a live event. I'm like, okay, people are doing this like with the like uh with some more purpose than just like sitting at home and going fast in a video game. And then I saw the description of said video, and it said, streamed live at twitch.tv/games done quick. And I was like, what's Twitch? What's that? So I clicked on that link, and it brought me to the Twitch website, and that was mind-boggling.
Hmm.
So I went fully down the rabbit hole. Like I watched a bunch of games done quick videos on YouTube, and uh, that made me want to pick it up even more. So I booted up the PS3 version of RE4 and I did individual chapter speedruns. And I only did like up to castle. I pretty much just did like the the whole entire village and then a couple of castle levels. And then after that, I was like, okay, I get the idea. This is fun. I like this. But I didn't know where to take it from there. And that's when I just started to go back to Twitch. I was like, okay, well, if you can do this in RE4 and all of these other games that I've watched on Games Done Quick, like what else could there be? So I went on Twitch and I started searching, and I found a bunch of like OG speedrunners, like the what people call like the golden era, um, and followed all of them and just consumed that content for months until, because this was in January, by the way, when I was really sick.
Of
And
2015.
so of 2015, yeah. And so around April is when I was convinced like that I needed to try this, like, I wanted to try and make something of this discovery. Because at the time I was a musician and like that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the music industry is pretty messed up. Especially when you're trying to break into it with like the genre of a metal that we were playing. We were good, but the chances of us making it were just so slim. So I was thinking to myself, like, okay, well, I can do this at home, and then when I'm out and about, like playing shows and doing practice and stuff, that's when I'll do music. But when I'm at home, I'll try this out. So I got into streaming. I tried doing a test stream in April with an Elgato capture card,
Mm.
and there was audio delay.
Ah, of course.
The classic OBS audio delay of a capture card. And I was like, okay, well, I don't like this. This sucks. I'm going to see if there are other options. And that's when I looked into an internal capture card. And I read that there's no delay because it's internal.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with this. So I got the Avermedia C975 or whatever the hell it was at the time. Plugged that into my brand new PC that I bought specifically for streaming and started streaming in June with full Silent Hill 2 original speedruns. And that's basically like that's the whole entire story from finding it until actually doing my first run that I like streamed on Twitch.
It's interesting that you kind of went for like very optimal setup right away. Like buy a new laptop, buy a capture card, buy because
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah,
usually how
I
people start. I speak from experience.
yeah.
I had a
Um
Dazzle, and that wasn't even the first. That wasn't even the first thing. So
yeah, the
good times.
classic Dazzle.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I don't know why I went like all in at first. I think it's because I was just so impressed with like the streams that I was seeing at the time on Twitch. I was like, I want to recreate this to the best of my ability, like right away. So I invested like way more heavily than you really should when you start streaming and start speedrunning. I invested way more than I should have at the time. And my parents understandably were like, what is all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it happened so suddenly, so they were confused. They were supportive, but they were also confused. So, but yeah, I went all in with like a new computer, the internal capture card. Funny enough, this green screen you're looking at, got this in May 2015,
Mm.
and it's still the one I use. It's literally just a big green cloth hanging from the ceiling.
Hey, it works. So
It
if it ain't
works.
broke, don't
Yeah,
fix it.
so I went all out with that. I did have like a cheap headset mic, and that was probably like the only thing in my setup that was kind of the beginner standard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just kind of went all in and gave it my best, I guess.
I'll say it's quite the investment,
Yeah,
but I guess it worked out in the end. But
it did
not
work out in the
not
end,
not to
thankfully.
jump ahead, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So, how did the humble beginnings of streaming look like?
I mean, the age-old saying, everybody starts at no viewers.
Yeah. Well.
Um, of course that was true, but I think I actually got kind of lucky. Um, because the first thing that I decided to stream was a game where like I could just talk and not have to worry about needing a chat to talk. So I streamed Fallout New Vegas,
Ooh.
and that helped me build a sense of like I can just speak about things. And I think I got really lucky because the first maybe 4 or 5 streams I had no one. And I was like, okay, this isn't really working, but like I'm enjoying myself still. And I think if I can just kind of like break through and just have just a few people show up and see what I'm doing, they might like it. So that's what I did, and like I think it was within like the first like 9 streams, like it was like the 8th or 9th stream. Finally, I had a couple of people who found me and they were like, "Hey, it's kind of nice here." And I was like, "Finally, I'm glad you think so." And they stuck around, and every single day from that point on, I started to grow. I had people who actually wanted to watch, and the people who I had already watched on Twitch, they also realized that I had started streaming. So, and fortunately, they were also very supportive, and they were also speedrunners. So they were like, okay, he's streaming Fallout New Vegas. He's not speedrunning. I want to see him speedrun.
Mm.
So that's what I did. After about 2.5 weeks, maybe, that's when I started my Silent Hill 2 speedrunning journey. That was my first game that I did full game speedruns of. And when you have around like 10 to 20 viewers who actually want to watch you, in 2015, that was like pretty big because that was like this big base to work with, right?
Mm.
Because Twitch's features were, non-existent, but they were so simplistic and the website wasn't saturated to the point where people were actively going on like, their games followed page and just looking at the games page in general and finding stuff that they like. So they would click on Silent Hill 2 and they're like, "Oh, who's this guy with like 20 something viewers speed running Silent Hill 2? That's interesting. I'm going to go check that out." So that's the part where I say that I think I got really lucky, was because I was just striking the iron while it was hot for a niche like part of speedrunning, which was horror.
Mm-hmm.
Um so that was the humble beginnings, was me in 2015 from like June all the way to the end of maybe, I want to say, the end of like March of 2016, because that is when I was like actually doing pretty well, like around 75 to 100 viewers. And like, so things had grown pretty quickly over the course of like half a year. And I had also just gotten Jet Set Radio into SGDQ.
Oh.
Um, so I got that acceptance. And then, yeah, I would say like in that like 6 to 9 month period, like things really snowballed and I got pretty lucky, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, definitely quick growth from what I've seen, but it helps when
Yeah.
you find your niche within a niche, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
So did you exclusively stick with Silent Hill 2 that whole time?
I did run Silent Hill 2 almost that entire time. The only reason why I learned other games was to kind of break up the monotony
Mm-hmm.
of just booting up Silent Hill 2 every day.
Avoid burnout. I mean, it is important.
So yeah, so I learned I actually did RE4. I didn't just do individual chapters. I learned the entire new game plus speedrun of RE4. And I also, obviously, like I mentioned, Jet Set Radio, I threw that into the mix. I did a 12-hour challenge
Oh yeah.
My first ever 12-hour challenge was RE1 Remake. I learned how to run Silent Hill 3. So I had like quite a few speed games under my belt just because Silent Hill 2 I grinded so hard that I was worried that I was gonna like hate the game at one point. So I did break it up and kind of just learn new things. Uh, and Yeah, that was a good call. That was a good call.
Yeah.
But I did grind Silent Hill 2 a lot.
So with these games, like what makes them good speed runs? Because again, you think of horror, you don't. That's not the first thing to like the casual observer for the first time. Might not be
Yeah,
like speed run, but
I
speed run.
think uh, I think back in like 2015, yeah, horror was not something that you saw and you thought, yeah, this would make a great speed game. Usually there isn't like interesting tech. It's not very fast paced. It doesn't have, well, some games have a lot of glitches, but a lot of horror games don't have a massive amount of glitches or things like wrong warps or, just massive skips, like you see in like OOT or SM64, the big ones, or any like arbitrary code execution like in Pokemon or yada yada. You know all this
Hmm.
stuff. So yeah, horror games don't really attract the normal like speedrun viewer of 2015, but I think that's maybe the reason why people were interested. They looked at Silent Hill, the series, the Resident Evil series, or even the more niche games like Clock Tower or Fatal Frame, and they look at them and they say, "This doesn't seem like it has speedrun potential. Like it seems like it might be kind of boring, but I want to maybe check it out just in the small chance that maybe there's something interesting in there." And then you kind of get sucked in because you realize that horror games aren't scary when you have somebody
It's
speed running them.
a good point.
So so suddenly that game that you shit yourself over like 10 years ago, you're suddenly like, "Oh, this is kind of cozy." And also he's beating these things so fast. Like how does this work? And then, it's you get bit by the bug. You get bit by the bug of horror speedrunning. I think a lot of horror fans find it and they find themselves kind of sucked into it because horror movies and horror games just have very dedicated fans.
Hmm.
And I've definitely seen the good and the bad side of that over the course of 10 years for sure.
It's funny. I
But yeah,
didn't.
I think
Oh, sorry.
I like back to your question. Like I do think that speedruns of horror games, they don't seem like they would be that crazy or that cool, but if you like really dig into them and like kind of understand the very small optimizations, they are interesting in like a very turbo nerdish kind of way,
Hmm.
you know?
The most important way.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually didn't consider like I don't know, kind of speed run changing the genre into more of a comedy just because of how silly it is to be speed running and you know playing the game not probably as intended.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
it does become kind of a comedy. That's I kind of feel like that's why a lot of like the GDQ audience that really like horror block, they
Mhm.
they like it because we make it funny and we make it and we make it a good time and it's not really that scary. And I think it's also coincidence that a lot of the horror game like speedrunners like they are genuinely just like really silly about their runs, so that helps.
Yeah, I know like horror games are usually made to be played a very specific way. Like, platformings or open worlds, you can kind of, have more variety in the gameplay, but usually horror
Yeah.
games are very linear, specific. They want you to do this. So when you don't do that, it's funny and
Yeah.
certainly unique because most people probably didn't play it that way.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah.
So I can understand the pull, I guess, for it. But yeah, like I guess this all led up to GDQ run, not even a year into speedrunning, or at least getting accepted. So
Yeah, yeah, not even a year in, which surprised me, especially because it was Jet Set Radio.
hmm,
Um,
yeah.
not really a game that I expected to get in, but yeah, they accepted that, and I don't know. When I went to GDQ and I did the run, it was at like ass o'clock, like 7 in the morning. I was I had like no sleep. I was worried that I was just gonna play bad, and in some ways, I kind of did not play up to par. Um, but I found it really funny because the very first GDQ run I did, Jet Set Radio is a bad PC port.
Mm.
It's a bad PC port. I didn't tell them this, but yeah, I got on the stage and I booted up the game, and right before the possible crash was going to happen, I just kind of very casually mentioned, I was like, oh, yeah, so there's a chance that the game might crash here. And then I did the spray, and then the game crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And it crashed so hard that I couldn't get anything to work on the computer.
Oh, that's good.
So I was like, so I looked at Vol'jin back when he was working as GDQ staff, and I said, I have to shut this computer down or something. And he was just like, whatever works, man. Whatever works. Just get this gaming PC back up and continue your run. And I was just like, okay, cool. So I restart the PC, and for whatever reason, that made the stream PC blue screen.
Oh, good.
So I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, my first GDQ run is a disaster currently, but I'm just going to continue the run, and hopefully by the end of it, the GDQ staff will still accept me. And they did, because the very next event, AGDQ 2017, they also accepted a run from me, which was Devil May Cry. And uh, I was still shocked because I was like, dude, I crashed the gaming PC, blue screen the streaming PC, and they were still like, yeah, let's bring this guy back. He's a hoot. I was surprised.
Well, obviously, I don't think it's your fault, but that is like, it can't be worse than that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really, speaking of funny, just there you go. That's probably why they found it much more hilarious than annoying. But
Yeah, maybe, maybe. It was very
because
early in the morning, and
yeah, and back then, I mean, GDQ was already pretty popular, but it still wasn't like it is today. So makes a
yeah,
little more sense. They weren't as, you know, I mean, in today's world, it probably wouldn't have blue screened, but I don't know. It's kind of funny that it works out that way.
yeah. I
Were
was
you
very
able to
worried.
finish the run at all?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They rebooted the PCs. We got it back up and running, and I think because they had to like kind of like redo the timer.
Hmm.
Uh, I did come under estimate,
Cool.
so it all worked out. It all
A
worked out, you know.
happy ending, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, that's funny. I'll have to. Is it like in the VOD?
yeah. It's on YouTube.
Hmm.
They were able to like stitch it to. Did they stitch it together? It actually might be a two-parter.
Yeah, I was curious how they'd handle that because especially back then, I don't know how they or how much effort they put into their like VOD uploads.
Yeah, let me go check. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, no, it is one full thing.
Okay, so they cropped
Jet
it.
Set Radio by Maxylobes and 4109 SGDQ 2016 Part 49.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All was good in the end, maybe. Did you have to restart the
Yeah.
whole run?
No. I just had to redo that specific level that it crashed on.
Okay, so it was like saving, and the save wasn't
Yeah,
corrupted or
yeah.
anything.
No, it was all
Okay.
good, yeah. But it was stressful because I was like, oh well, I'm gonna have to redo the level, and if it crashes again,
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay.
but it didn't crash, so it's all good. It's all
Yes.
good
Yeah, it just crashed once for the content, you know.
for the content.
It's good. That's good. But yeah, it's funny as you were saying that they accepted that when you obviously the niche you were doing was not that.
Yeah, and Devil May Cry isn't a horror game either, so I was kind of
Yeah.
um that honestly it's like I said, it's good that I switched up and learned other games because that's genuinely what did lead to me getting accepted into GDQ. And yeah, Devil May Cry went really well, and it led to just me kind of diving into other things. You know, I started really branching out and learning games that I didn't even think of learning. You know, stuff like Beautiful Joe and like Devil Kings, and even stuff like Shenmue. Like it's just yeah.
So how do
Sometimes
you
it's just sometimes it's just nice to branch out, and it leads you to things you never thought you would do and things you never thought you'd enjoy, and then you enjoy them.
mm. So how did you like decide these games?
I think Jet Set Radio was mainly just childhood.
Hmm.
Jet Set Radio was a big childhood game for me. My family bought me a Sega Dreamcast with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Jet Set Radio, Soul Calibur, and Extreme Sports. Oh, and Evolution World of Sacred Device. Those were all the games I got, and I was like, dang, this is sick. Like, this console's sick, but Jet Set Radio, like, really was very different from any game I'd like ever played. So Jet Set Radio is a big childhood game for me. I booted it up all the time, and so I gravitated towards that because it just felt right, and I like the run. I like the run, and I think in the end I didn't like stick to it as much after the GDQ run, mainly because I just wanted to learn more and more horror. But Devil May Cry was different. Devil May Cry was a game where again, just a series I really loved and was a game that I played a lot on the PS2, like, back in the early 2000s. But it wasn't as much of a childhood favorite. I didn't gravitate towards it because I loved it at a young age. It was more so um I looked at the speed run for it and I saw like a lot of potential, and it also looked really difficult, and I wanted to like challenge myself. So I tried like the first few missions, and I realized very quickly how difficult it is. And I thought maybe that would be interesting for people to watch, like a game that is not only known to be a hard game, but also has a, you know, unknowing to most, a very difficult speedrun. I was like, okay, I'm gonna put myself to the challenge. I'm gonna learn this. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna try to get decent at it, and it just ended up being one of my GDQ submissions. And they took it.
There you go.
Yeah,
But when you branched out a little more after that, th- there were tons of different kinds of games. It sounded like. So
yeah,
I was curious
yeah.
how those kind of came
Beautiful
together.
Joe. Beautiful Joe was like, okay, this is a beat 'em up game. It's a different kind of game. It's like a 2D. It's like a 3D platformer, but it's 2D. Like it's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought that maybe that would be an interesting game to learn since it's just something new, something I'd never done before. And I truly do believe that if you try to speedrun games that are kind of differing genres and differing mechanics, it'll just make you an overall better speedrunner. And I still believe that to this day. So Beautiful Joe was another like, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself to do something new, and uh, it just so happens that Beautiful Joe is stupidly hard as well. It just Teaminator just made it look easy, but it's really hard. And so that game I just picked up, learned it, had fun with it, and then just stopped because I realized that I would have to dedicate like my life to it if I wanted to get good at it. Don't know how Teaminator does it. He's an alien probably.
Hmm.
Um and then, Devil Kings was like just a silly one. It was like, oh, a Musu game. Like who runs a Musu game? Barely anybody,
I don't even know what that
you know.
is.
Uh well, think like Dynasty Warriors. Like that style of game is a Musu game.
Hmm.
There's like 100 enemies on a battlefield in front of you, and you just
I see.
just fucking kill all of them. That's a Musu game. Super fun style of game, but not the type of game you would think to speedrun. So I thought to myself, why not? Why not go completely out of the box, 10 feet away from the box, if you will, and speedrun this? And so, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of started picking random things at one point. And I did kind of stop doing that at some point, like when Resident Evil 7 dropped, which was 2017, and that was uh right after 2017 AGDQ. I didn't run anything like during AGDQ 2017 I ran Devil May Cry, but I didn't run anything at SGDQ 2017. So I had just a ton of time to focus on whatever I wanted to. I didn't have like an obligation after AGDQ. So I ran RE7 a lot, and then I just kind of stuck to horror for a while. So the variety thing I just kind of stopped doing that until around like 2018. Actually, when was this? Let me check the date of this run. Oh, actually, no, there was one more. Dot hack. Dot hack GU, November of 2017. That was the last like random not horror run I did. Action RPG. The only actual RPG I've ever ran. But then after that, it was Shenmue, I believe. Um, and Shenmue's HD remaster. When did this come out? April. Oh no, August of 2018. That's when it was. So I took like a solid break from like just picking a bunch of different variety, and I stuck to mainly horror, except for Dot Hack and Shenmue.
Okay. So during that variety era, there was no like long single game grind.
Nah, pretty much just RE7 was like the only long single game grind I did.
Okay.
But that's just because it was a new release. Like it was hype.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah. Always got to get on the hype train, especially if it falls in your niche. So, understand that one. Did it make a good speed run
at least I'm
when it
pretty
came
sure that
out?
was the only one. Uh yeah. Yeah, that was it. RE7, and I did do like the occasional Silent Hill grinds. Like this was still back when I was running Silent Hill 3 a decent amount. Silent Hill 3 is another game I put a lot of hours into. But here and there I would just go back to like Devil May Cry to get world record back. Um same thing with Silent Hill 3, and eventually I did learn how to run Fear, which I stuck with a lot. That was also a game I grinded a ton.
A lot of games.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of games. A lot of runs.
It is kind of interesting how many, because like half of these are horror games, but they're like
Mm-hmm.
almost different subgenres of horror. Like I know Fear's obviously like a first person
Yeah.
kind of shooter thing, and then I don't know how much you've done with like, tank control type games, but those are a thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
then, yeah, and then your standard like third person kind of over the shoulder stuff.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
lot.
that's definitely something. Yeah, like there's a lot of subgenres of horror for sure. Keeps it interesting.
And I assume
Keeps it very
makes
interesting.
every speed run like very different, almost to the point where, you were talking about, speed running different genres to try to build your overall repertoire um and skill set. And you can almost do that in the horror genre.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many like different types of horror speed runs, especially nowadays. And you can really just like build a lot of good skills that you would generally use in like a various amounts of other genres of speed games, you know?
Mhm.
Because like you said, like Fear is like a first person shooter. So if you wanted to speed run a first person shooter game that has like a lot of, out of bounds tech or like a lot of wild, you know, kind of exploits, you could then just go to like Wolfenstein, and then suddenly you're like, wait, this is familiar, but it's, Wolfenstein is the farthest thing from like a horror game.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of crossover.
Let's see. So when you went back into like the focused grind sets on specific stuff. So I guess what made you lock in for that, and then the games chosen during that time.
Hmm. I think some of them were games that like I just had record for and I wanted to keep them.
I see.
I had already worked pretty hard to like achieve the said time. And then obviously records are meant to be broken, so someone,
Mhm.
somewhere down the line comes along and is like, "I did it. I beat Maxylobes." And then I look at that and I say, "Well, hold on a moment.
We can't have that.
Hold on. We can't have this." So I would go back and I would grind it. And so some games were like a just like a almost sentimental thing, like this is like a game that I've put so much time into and I know that I want to get record again. I want to try to keep this title as much as I can. And so games like Devil May Cry, I did that a lot with. But I also did that with Silent Hill 3. I did that a few times with Silent Hill 2. Fear, I did that a few times. And a couple of other games. Um, couple of other games. But those were like pretty big ones. Just that those handful of runs right there, I put a lot of hours into, and they all kind of have their different uh, what's the word for it? Their different vibes.
Mm.
Some of them, like Fear, that is a lock the fuck in type of game. Like you have to focus and you have to nail every trick and every out of bounds, otherwise you lose massive time. Even with a quick save, quick load feature, like if it doesn't matter if you quick save before doing that one specific jump. If you mess up that jump, you lost 5 seconds and you're not getting that back. So Fear was the type of game that was hard because it was, there were so many wild tricks to do in the run. It's even crazier nowadays. My run is ancient history compared
Mm.
to what you see now, because of so many discoveries. But back then, getting the time that I was trying to get was very hard. Same thing with Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 3 was different. It wasn't that there was big tricks or like out of bounds and you have to lock in for that stuff. You had to lock in because you were trying to save fractions of seconds like every room going from door to door in like a tank control game.
Mhm.
So that's what was hard about that. Um, and they just had different vibes because of the different mechanics. So some of them were cozy, like Silent Hill 3, despite having to really pay attention to your movement, some of it's just muscle memory. So you'll have like a 3-minute section of the game where you're just kind of going through the motions, you're just like L1 strafe, turn into door, press X into door, and it's imprinted into your brain. So some of those times where I would stream stuff like Silent Hill 3, I'd be very chill, and it'd be really easy to talk to chat, and we'd all vibe, and it would just be a good time. And then Fear was more of like the kind of the pop off game. People
Mhm.
wanted to watch Silent Hill 3 because it was chill, and we all got to just talk. And then people wanted to watch Fear because it was like, this game is crazy. This is a crazy run. I want to watch this get faster and faster. I want to see the times go down. So very different vibes. And sometimes, overall, I'm a pretty chill guy. But sometimes I do have my moments
Mhm. Don't we all?
where where I'm just crashing out hard. So sometimes that was also the vibe.
Yeah.
I'd get to like the last hour of the stream and I'm just mauling, losing my hair
Chat loves
over
crash outs. Isn't that right?
it's kind of true.
Mhm.
It's kind of true.
Gotta
But
milk
yeah,
that
I would
LSF
say
content or whatever. I don't know.
yeah, the Reddit threads back in the day. It's funny. I was actually one of my RE4 runs did make it to a live stream fails thread
Oh god.
because I was on like this awesome PB pace for a no merchant RE4 run. I was like minutes ahead, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I did all the boss strats. We've gotten good luck. We're like 8 minutes ahead. Let's go." And then the game crashed on 5-4,
Oh my
which is like literally like 5 minutes before the game is completely over. And somebody decided to clip it and post it, and I was just like, okay,
god.
that's gonna be my top viewed clip for a while, I guess.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes, I guess.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Makes for a good story, right?
yeah,
Something like that at least. So, I have noticed you seem to have gotten quite a few records then. It sounds like.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely like I wouldn't say that I was like super hungry for world records when I started speedrunning, but I would say around like 2016, 2017, about a year or so after I started running, I kind of started to realize that like having world record was more than just like a hey guys, look, I did the thing. Isn't that cool? It was also like you were building something, because then other people look at that record and they're like, oh wow, that's fast, but I wonder if I could do that. And it was like I was building foundations for like so many different games, and more runners would show up and they'd be like, oh man, I don't know how you get so good at this game. And then I'm just like, if I could do it, you could do it too. And they did, and they would beat my time, and I'd be like, oh fuck, I gotta go back. I gotta go back and do it again. So that's when I started realizing that like you know, as cool as world records are, they're also like important to have like beaten. Like you can't just be the world record guy forever.
Hmm.
you have to you have to commit so much of your time and energy into being the world record guy, and sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes you just gotta let a game breathe, and I have done that tons and tons and tons. Um, Obviously because I want to speedrun so many different games. There is no human being on this planet that could possibly keep a world record for all of the games that they run when they run like 40 plus. There's just no way, especially if they have a lot of competition. You just can't do it. Um, so yeah, I found myself in a position where I was getting world records for a bunch of different games, and it was just a good way of being like, like, look, I did the thing. Maybe you could do it too, and then it would happen. I don't have um my oldest record. The only reason why I have some of my oldest records are because nobody has gone to that specific like category and beaten my time yet. Um,
But they could.
and it's but they could. That's the thing. They totally could. Like my oldest world record right now is my Silent Hill 3 console record for backwards compatible PS3 specifically, New Game Plus. It is still the world record from. This doesn't even look correct. This date's wrong.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because it says 2015, May 2015. That's not correct. I need to edit that on SRC. Um, but yeah, like that is my oldest record for sure, 100%.
well, I'm glad my show
Yeah,
could fix some history, I guess.
this was August 10th, 2017.
Oh, wow.
So that is really wrong in SRC. I don't know why it's
Wow.
listed that long ago. That doesn't make any sense. Um,
Oopsies.
Big oopsies. That's okay. I'll get that sorted out. But yeah, that is definitely one of my oldest records. I think. Hold on. Let's go back to Silent Hill 3. Because that date is incorrect, I actually think it's. Aha! 2016. 2016, June 18th is my oldest world record of knife only Silent Hill 3.
Will it reach 10 years?
Will it reach 10 years? All right.
Only you can
You got
stop
you got
it.
5 months, people. 5 months.
But yeah.
But yeah, somebody can do it, Somebody out there can do it. But yeah, a lot of my old world records have been broken, and some of them I go back for, some of them I don't. Some of them I can't even keep up with.
Mm.
Um, like I mentioned earlier, like Fear went through a lot of really big discoveries. And my PB is still from 2021. The world record right now. Let's see. So when I had record, it was a 48:27. This was back in 2021. Now we're in 2026, and the world record is 38:35.
Jesus. That's
It is 10
significant.
minutes faster. Yeah, yeah. So, but the that's the foundation that was built.
Mm.
They were like, we need to beat this Maxi guy, and then they did. And because they were so active in trying to beat me, they found new things, right? And that discovery led to them being like, oh well, if we found this, like, what else is hiding in this game still? Apparently, an absolute metric fuck ton
Mm.
was hiding in it. So 10 minutes worth of time saved still.
Yeah. It reminds me something
Um,
I've always heard and believed is like, you always see the record holder at the top, but like for every record holder, there's an entire community that helped that exist. It's never just a solo effort there.
yeah,
You're seeing like the end result
100%.
of a community's effort to push, I guess.
100%. 100%. And honestly, the how speedrunning content is structured nowadays, um, I think people are starting to really enjoy that side of speedrunning a lot more. They want to see what the journey was like, the community, um, you know, gathering and working towards that end goal, instead of just watching, the world record or the world record holder like stream their attempts and stuff like that.
Hmm. There's definitely those people, but yeah,
For sure, yeah.
I've noticed a lot more. I'm In fact, that's how it used to be like, especially back in the day, is people really only watched, world record holder do world record attempts, like super early
Oh
Twitch
yeah,
days. And now, yeah, that's shifted a lot more to, people really enjoy the content of like record histories and all that. That's kind of what
yeah,
pulled me in, so it all worked out. It's a good
yeah.
shift though, because, the focus is more on like everyone that helped out than just like one person, because you can't credit anything, any like a game where it is today, on like one person, unless like only one person runs the game.
hmm Yeah.
So
And there are games out there like that,
yeah.
but that changes. That changes over time, you know? So
Yep.
it just, you don't know how long it takes, but eventually it'll happen. Even if it's like some garbage bin PlayStation 2 game that like you know, only a handful of people have ever actually, you know, completed. It's it'll eventually will have a speed run and somebody will see it and they'll be like, "Okay, I can do that too."
That's all you need. A community can be two people. So
Yeah. Yeah.
once you have two people, it's over. Anyway.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the time is downhill. That's what we want, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. No,
true.
it's a good thing, I think.
hmm
Anyway.
Yeah, that's how it was with quite a few games I've picked up. There were definitely games where there were barely anybody, like maybe like a handful of people on the leaderboard. One of them that comes to mind is Fatal Frame.
Mm.
Um, gosh, let me just filter back the date here. Start date. God, SRC needs to figure out a better way of having this filter work.
Oh,
I'm
we've been trashing SRC for a long time. And they
Yeah,
never
it's
fix
it's
anything.
it's getting rough out here, dog.
I still have screenshots. They're like record history graphs they try to keep on their stats page.
Mm-hmm.
I have a example of like one screenshot where, if like say it's a category extensions page where there's like 50 categories, they all show up on one graph and you have to like click each one to like turn it off. But if there's too
Oh
many, the
no.
graph just doesn't even show up at all, and there's no way to get it to show up. I don't know
Oh
if they fixed
god.
that since or not, but there's a lot of issues with the site ever since it transferred hands.
Yeah. It's also just like there's so much traffic on it now. Oh my
I
god.
will say I haven't gotten like the, come back later website down rip
Right.
thing in a
For
while.
the amount of like mobile games and like
Oh my god,
Roblox
yeah.
mods that are on the site now, the fact that we haven't gotten the come back in 3 hours page, yeah, it's kind of a miracle.
Yeah,
So
so
if I mean,
I'll give it props for that. You know, haven't
yeah,
seen that page in a
yeah,
while, and I know they're having more traffic than ever, so they're doing something right. Now, if they could just fix everything they fucked up, please, that'd be great.
yeah. Needs to be easier to navigate some of this stuff. But yeah, going back to like the handful of runners, like back in 2016 December, Fatal Frame had 3 runners.
Yeah,
Wow. And now it has 36. Hey, that's pretty good.
that is
That's
all.
pretty good.
That's more.
A lot more,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is more.
So sometimes games just start out like that. It's just a couple of people who are like, "Oh, I had this game as a kid. I'll run this." And
Event.
eventually,
You
you
find
have
more
a
people
good
that
leaderboard.
may have had similar experiences finding speedrunning.
Uh-huh.
That's the thing. As more people find speedrun, they usually you gravitate towards something you remember fondly from back in the day.
Hmm.
And if you had some like obscure dog shit, like there you go. More of an
Yep.
opportunity for those
Obscure
games.
dog shit is the perfect the perfect kind of way of describing some of the games that you do find on speedrun.com
Hmm.
randomly. You know, if you just kind of like scroll through them.
Hey,
Sometimes,
they
okay.
added the random button, and it's beautiful.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, the
it's
random. Yeah, exactly.
beautiful.
You press that and you're like, what in the world did I just uncover? Sometimes it's cursed, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's pretty dope. You just never know what you'll find.
But I will say, usually if you look at a console's release history, depending on the console, you'll see like, 90% shovelware. So, you know, you take
Yeah.
that to a database full of games, again, you're looking at mostly shovelware. But also shovelware can make fantastic speedruns sometimes. So it all works out.
100%.
And
Yeah,
that's
I'm
why
looking at you,
speedrunning is
Nintendo
beautiful.
Wii.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's what I think of.
Yeah,
There.
Nintendo Wii was full of it.
Oh my god. I mean, and there were so many just hilarious Wii shovelware runs, especially with just garbage motion controls. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And they're all broken in beautiful ways because they just did not care what they were putting out, probably.
Did no care whatsoever.
But I don't know. Some of them are pretty popular too. Um, I've definitely talked to
Yeah.
some M&M kart racers before. There's some good stuff. I know.
And then
No, yeah, it's great, and I know Awful Block had the one of the classic like Wii platformers that are like 4 stages long, and they just like reuse assets for like 3 different games. It was one of those. Like they're there. People
they're
do them.
there. And people like watching them too,
No, yeah, no. I mean, Awful
just
Block.
because they're surreal.
Yeah, I mean, Awful Block is like GDQ staple for a reason, right?
Hmm.
Like awful games can be hilarious. Well, usually always hilarious, but I mean the speedruns sometimes are genuinely fascinating in more
Yeah,
ways
my
than
sleep
one.
schedule at GDQ is usually like it's always like perfect for horror or not horror block. Well, horror block, yeah, but awful
Yeah.
block. So awful and silly block, I tend to if I'm not like busy doing something, yeah, I will go into that stream room and I'll watch some just random bullshit on that screen and I will enjoy it.
It's great.
It's fun.
I mean, I don't know when they started doing those blocks, but I mean, they're like the longest running kind of GDQ staple, I feel, right?
That's a good point. When did they start doing those?
Because I know they always have like a horror block, but even like the horror block, I don't think is like on their schedule. They call it that. Like awful block, they specifically label it. This is awful block. This is silly block. I don't think they do that with
Mhm.
anything else.
Yeah. Um they definitely yeah, they definitely emphasize awful and silly. And I think it's because like it's a part of the marathon that kind of just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, so why
Yeah,
not highlight it?
yeah, it is
Yeah.
very different than the rest of the marathon, but that's why we love it. It's great.
Mhm.
This just out of curiosity, have you done anything for Alpha or Silly Block? Surely there's some bad horror games out there.
Well, um the initial game that I was supposed to run at AGDQ earlier this month was an awful game submission.
Oh, okay.
Um it was Ebola Village.
Oh, I see.
That was an awful game block submission. I don't think it was accepted as an awful game block game.
Mm.
So that was very confusing, but that got switched for Fair 2, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that is the only like awful game I have actually done a speed run of.
I see.
Was that game right there, Ebola Village. It is terrible.
I
And
mean,
it's
with a
coming to
name like
consoles
that.
soon.
Oh, okay, great.
Don't know how.
I mean,
I don't know how.
pe- dog shit has their cult followings. I mean,
That's true.
they've
Yeah,
released
that game's
they've
bad.
released some stuff on like modern platforms like that. What is it? Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, and what like the
Actually,
night.
yeah, you know what?
Yeah, I forget what the
The
Sega CD game is. Like night something, night
Yeah,
watch.
even
I don't
like
know.
modern digital stores, not just Steam, but also there's like some pretty
Night Trap.
crazy stuff on PlayStation Network and like the Nintendo eShop.
Oh my god. Don't get me started
So
on
I
the
guess
Nintendo eShop.
yeah,
Oh my god.
there's some cursed stuff on there.
Dude, I don't think they have because I come from like NES era speedrunning stuff. There was the Nintendo seal of quality, right? Like it was they were very particular of what released, which made it so there was still some dog shit, but maybe not as bad as and I don't think they care at all what's on the eShop. I think people just submit
Yeah,
it and there's no like quality control of any sort. Because
they just hope for approval.
what
They're waiting for that. You're
like
in.
I don't even know if there's an approval process. Can you just upload it and it's just there? Because some of the things could not have been seen by a human being and been like, yep,
It's
like
just an automated. It's just a guy who's like on no sleep at his desk, just like looking at the submission, just like, sure,
I swear 5% of the eShop is like hentai
sure.
games, and then
Yeah,
five
I mean,
percent is 5% is alarm clocks, 2% are like
it's
drones.
alarm clocks.
No, this is real. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I don't get it. I truly don't understand. Like I thought the Wii was bad, although those have to like come out physically, so I guess it is a little more impressive. But like the fact that there's just zero quality control at all fascinates
It's bad.
me.
It's so bad.
But
And you know what? Now they just run even better on Switch too.
that's good, yeah.
Your alarm clock is now gonna run 10% better.
Would wouldn't that be bad for an alarm clock if it ran faster?
You know what? You got a point there. You got a point there. That's not a good thing,
Uh-oh.
actually. The Switch 2 is causing problems that we didn't even think about.
Well, yeah, we're talking about the heavy hitting topics here, clearly.
Mm.
Anyway, I mean, I've always said the show runs on tangents, but goddamn, I don't know how we got here.
It happens to the best of us.
It's true. Um, so to try to get back onto the timeline of things, I think somewhere earlier in the episode we were talking about like kind of getting back into the grind set of certain games. Um, and I think we didn't touch on like kind of after like where that led to, I guess. So
Um, hmm. I mean, I think I still do have like that kind of grind ethic every once in a while where I sit down and I'm like, okay, I want this, so I'm gonna grind for it.
mhm.
So I still do that nowadays, but there was a point in time where I think I held like the most amount of records I ever held was like 2021, and that was like late 2021. I would probably say late 2021, early 2022. That was the point in time where I had the most amount of world records that I've like ever had. I think it was like 16 or something. Um and this was for like maybe 10, 11 different games.
Jeez.
So I was sitting there like, you know, it was like peak peak gold medals, so it was really cool because like I had worked really hard for some of those records. I was grinding. But that kind of like that general time of like having all those records is also the point where I realized that I was like I was overworking myself super hard on some of the grinds. And it was starting to kind of be not so fun.
Mm.
And I needed to take like a break. And like I said earlier, records are meant to be broken. So during that long break for like the rest of 2022, um, I just focused on content. I focused on just making good content. And during that time, I think my world records were like cut in half.
Mm.
And these were for like competitive games too. So, and I think I actually can like remember all of them.
Mm.
Um, it was I had lost one in Silent Hill 3. I had lost Condemned Criminal Origins, Friday the 13th, uh, my Resident Evil 7 DLC runs, Shenmue, Fear Fear 1, Fear 2, my Village runs that I had just done because Village came out early 2021. Um, and what else was it? I think it was Lord of the Rings: Return of the King and Visage. And Visage. So there was like a bunch. It was more than like half of my records were just gone, and I was either sitting at second or third. And so, uh, yeah, that kind of like was the era of like my goat. He's washed.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to go back to the grind. Some people wanted to see the grind return, and it eventually did, but it was in spurts. I do it in like little random spurts. Like recently, I got like the first 109 in Fatal Frame back in what was it? It was like 4 or 5 months ago. I sat down and I was like, I want this, so I'm gonna grind for it. So I sat there, grinded for like a week and a half, got it, bam, you know, GG's. And people loved it. And so, but I tried to do it in little spurts because I do remind myself like back to those times where like I grinded so hard to get all those world records, and I pushed myself way too far to the point where I got so tired and burnt out. And then in the end, the break that I took from that, I ended up losing all those world records anyways. So just another big like reminder that if you do get world record, remember that it's the most important thing about it is that you are setting the foundation. You're setting the foundation for someone else to step up, take your run, and do something about it, just a little bit better. And a lot of like communities that I am a part of where I did have the world record, like they recognize me sometimes as being like kind of like the face of the run for a long time. Like Devil May Cry, I was basically the king of that game for God knows how long, like seven-ish years. Because I would just go back and get world record every time it was taken from me. To the point
You can't
where
keep getting away with this.
that's exactly what they said. They conformed against me, like in a obviously not in like I hate this guy
Yeah.
way, more of like oh my god, he can't keep doing this. We have to figure this out. Like how do we stop him? And they did by completely rerouting the entire orb economy in the game. So they changed the route completely, which led to completely different strats. Now, if I wanted to go back to Devil May Cry, I'd have to learn pretty much from scratch, like a
Mm.
lot of the route. That's what they had to do because I kept on getting record with the same route every single time, and they were like, "This, there has to be another way. There has to be another way," and that's what they did. They found another way,
Big brain
and
plays.
that
Yeah.
And that's kind of like beautiful in itself, you know? Being Frankenstein's monster and
Hmm.
having like the mob with their torches out being like, "Oh, he's a monster. We have to kill him. We have to take him down." And then like, alternate timeline of yeah, they do take Frankenstein down.
Hmm.
But it was kind of like fun being that guy.
Yeah. Um, so during this break, what content were you focusing on?
Like a lot of casual stuff.
Okay, I see.
Tons of casual playthroughs. This is kind of when like I tried to take YouTube a little bit more seriously um as well. And obviously like it's kind of hard to juggle both, so I was still focusing a lot on just stream, but like yeah, a lot of casual content, a lot of playthroughs of like new stuff and also some old stuff too. Um and yeah, just kind of mainly like trying to diversify because it's kind of just what you have to do. I'm not gonna lie, once the pandemic hit, like diversifying content became 10 times more important than it had
Hmm.
ever been ever. So around that time I did try to kind of branch out into different directions and get feelers as to like what would be good to stream, what wouldn't do as well, you know. I did a lot of experimenting during that time.
Hmm. Well, since you brought up YouTube, I usually like to kind of dive in on the content side of things from there. So, um, you mean you did like more like scripted, edited stuff, not just like highlight uploads?
Yeah, I was trying to do both.
Okay.
And mainly like the scripted stuff I didn't start doing until I would have to actually go back and see like when did I start doing that? When did I start doing that? Um my first ever scripted video was 2021. March and April of 2021. I decided, screw it, I'm going to try and do scripted content. And it was the what is Resident Evil video. It was essentially just me giving the most, you know, basic explanation as to what all of the Resident Evil series kind of is. You know,
Hmm.
like what every single game kind of offers and like how the series evolved from OG RE1 to what it was, which was I think at the time it was Resident Evil 3 remake. I don't think Village had come out yet. Um yeah, Village had not come out yet. So that was my first one, and it didn't do well because it's like the first time you ever post a scripted content video. Usually doesn't go
Hmm.
well. Like
Yeah.
99% of people will run into this, especially when your channel's already built upon something totally different. Which my channel was built upon speedrunning.
Hmm.
Um, I uploaded a lot of just speed runs, and some of them would actually like get decent views. Um, so I had a decent subscriber base that was used to me posting speedruns. So they saw this new video and they were like, "What is this?" And I had to kind of I kind of had to like rethink how I did that content. So I didn't end up releasing another one of those until July. And that one also didn't do well. It was how Resident Evil 7 helped evolve speedrunning,
Hmm.
originally titled How Resident Evil 7 Changed Speedrunning. And it was a video that explained, like, because in 2017, speedrunning was starting to really just grow rapidly
Hmm.
um, because of games like Odyssey and,
Yep.
you know, Breath of the Wild. But I wanted to show that Resident Evil 7 was like standing alongside those big titles that were coming out and like was one of the more popular speedruns of the year, and how it was a game that like really helped that rapid growth and like pushing speedrunning more into the mainstream audience. And that video didn't do well, but the catch is it eventually did hit the algorithm and it did eventually do well. And that one I'm super proud of. But yeah, it was just a lot of like trying to figure out how to release that content and have it work. Um because from that video onwards, like again, that video didn't do well on release. The next one was the near perfect Resident Evil speedrun. That didn't do well. How speedrunners break Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I tried doing a Pokemon video because I was like, okay, I need to maybe even branch out more. Maybe I need to try to make it so that the algorithm hits a completely different audience. Like, so I tried doing one on Brilliant Diamond because I was like, this game's fucking broken. Screw it. I'll do it. So I released that in December of 2021. Again, did terribly. So it wasn't like very easy. YouTube was like way harder than Twitch, and it just kept on demotivating me from making the content. I was almost kind of like, oh, I should just go back to just uploading speedruns and like try to do more basic content instead of like heavily scripted ones. And then I finally had my first like big break with a scripted video, which was developers killed Back for Blood speedrunning.
Mm.
All thanks to Kroby Cat, because they posted a Back for Blood video literally 6 hours before I posted mine. And so after a few days of his video getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, mine picked up on the algorithm, and that became like my first big break. And I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be bad because I'm gonna have so many angry people, because this video was like, I'm not gonna call it drama bait, but it was drama. It wasn't bait, it was facts. I was spitting facts in this video, but it was drama for sure.
Yeah.
And I hated the fact that my first big break was with a drama video.
Not beating
So,
the
but
drama gets views allegations.
yeah, I
Too
did
many too
not
many
realize
speedrun
it.
content creators are just drama only now. It's unfortunate.
I know.
But...
It's rough, dude. It's rough. Which is why I try really hard to highlight the ones that are putting a lot of effort into like storytelling, and like highlighting like community effort and like glitch hunters and stuff, because those are super important when it comes to like YouTube. And I want to be more like those channels, you know? I have a huge video in the works right now that is very much so one of those types of videos. But yeah, that was like my first big break, and it annoyed me because it was dramatic.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, I need to strike while the iron is hot. Otherwise, I'm just going to be that guy who made that one drama video that one time. So I posted another in February where I did a speedrun of Dying Light 2, and I explained the route and every like all the tricks and stuff to it, and that did really well, like right away. I do think the thumbnail really helped with that one too. So I started to understand like the thumbnail game even more too. You know, the combination of the title and the thumbnail catching the eye, like, because people only have a couple of seconds to look at it before they either click on it or don't click on it. So I was starting to understand like the YouTube algorithm and like how to kind of, you know, get people to be interested. So yeah, YouTube, hard.
Yeah.
Hard. Very hard.
So I've heard.
But yeah, I just kept on going, and after those two videos, like I said, the Resident Evil 7 one, shortly after the Back for Blood one did really well, the Resident Evil 7 one picked up in the algo. That did super well to the point where like it was even getting just like recommended to, you know, people that I knew, and they were like, "Dude, you made this?"
Hmm.
And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Dude, this is sick." And I was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect. This is exactly what I needed." So I was super happy when the RE7 one took off. And I was like, "Okay, I've gotten these couple of dubs. If I release like 5 more videos and they're stinkers, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep trying." So I kept on trying. So I made 2 on Elden Ring when it
Hmm.
released. One of them did, eh. The other one, this is a perfect example of the YouTube algorithm being absolutely the dumbest thing ever. Okay? I I this graph is crazy. So, first 2 days of this video being released, 41,000 views.
Damn.
And I was like, "Oh, this is a heater. Like
Yeah.
this is a heater. This is going to keep going." And then it got to day number 7, week 1 week, and it was at 52,000. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, it's fine, it's slowing down, but it's still doing really good. And flatline,
Yeah, of course.
like hard flatline. And I was sitting there thinking, like, did you not think this was straight fire, YouTube? Did you not at first think that this video was going to get like 1 million views? What are we doing here? So that was the time where I also learned the hardships of YouTube, where sometimes your video can just,
Like it
for no
just
reason,
stops recommending it completely.
yeah, like even if it's doing super well, it just sometimes just it just becomes a fart in the wind.
Hmm.
Um, and so that was a really like tough realization to the point where I didn't even know what to do at that point. I didn't upload another scripted video until October. Um, so that's bad. And then I didn't upload another one until February. So I became very inconsistent after this, you know. I had the motivation. I was like, yeah, I got a few big hitters. Let's keep going. And then I had another big hitter that just flatlined randomly, and then I was like, "Oh my god, fuck. It's over. It's over. I peaked, you know?
All
I
downhill
peaked."
from here.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
all plateaus from here.
It's
Actually.
exactly how I felt. But it just so happens that some of the videos that I did release that kind of like, didn't do that well are some of my best videos. And the comments do reflect that. Like my world record history of Silent Hill 3 is my best video on my channel. Did it do poorly? No, I wouldn't say it did poorly. It did decently. But could it have done a lot better? Oh, totally. Totally. It could have done a lot better. Um, and I hope one day maybe the algorithm will just pick it back up again.
No, as long as it's there,
But
there's
yeah,
always that maybe a little bit of copium, but it's technically always
yeah.
possible.
A lot of copium, but it is possible. So ever since like the Elden Ring video though, very inconsistent with my YouTube uploads, but like some of them do well, some of them don't. It's just kind of random. But I do have like a very bad kind of curse as well, because back when I was like releasing those first big hitters, I was editing everything on my own,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
is hard. It's very
It's
hard
really
to,
hard to learn editing at the very
yes.
beginning and then to manage that with the, uh scripting and recording and audio editing and then, you're a full-time Twitch streamer too. I don't know how people do it. I'll be real. And obviously you have firsthand
Yeah,
experience.
it was rough. It was rough. I would I would actually have to like take impromptu days off of
Mm.
stream to like sit down at my computer and just grind editing for, I shit you not. When I remember when I mentioned the Pokemon video,
Yep.
I took 3 days off of stream consecutively to make that video, and I was sitting at my desk for like probably 14 hours each of those days, just grinding at this video,
Yeah.
and it did terribly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not very uncommon. I know other people that do content kind of full time, but maybe have more motivation to stream sometimes, but suddenly they'll be gone for like a week or two, and then a video comes out, and then they're back, and it's like, well, I know what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Like it's just so hard to do both at the same time.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes
And there's
it
no
does
way to
kind
know
of,
until it's out, right?
yeah,
It's
you just
always
never
a
know.
gamble.
Shot in the dark. Yeah, YouTube's really hard, but like I did have a curse with like editors. You know,
Mm.
I edited them myself, and then eventually I was like, I don't have time to do this. Like I need to find an editor. And the editor curse is that I would find somebody, they would do a video for me, and then they'd be like, "All right, that was awesome. I'm going to go play what's the Jerry the fucking meme?
Oh, Animal Crossing New Leaf on my
I'm
Nintendo
gonna go play
3DS.
Animal. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they would do to me. That's what they would do to me.
That's all the
They would
time
pull
I've
a
got.
Reggie. That's all the time I've got, and I would just be like, "Wait, what do you mean? Like, do you want to do another video like in like a month or two?" And they're like,
Nope.
"Yeah, just yeah, I guess hit me up," and then just nothing would ever happen. So that was my editor curse,
Mm.
and it got worse too.
Oh.
It got worse. So um the two videos that I'm like super proud of, the Silent Hill 3 World Record History video and the Resident Evil 7 video, those were done by a fellow content creator named Hummelden. He edited those graciously, and um I like, if I could have, I would have like I would have done things to have him be my full-time editor, but he just couldn't. He
Yeah.
just couldn't, you know? He has a life and a job, and he must do things with life and job.
How unfortunate.
So how unfortunate for me. Oh, woe is me. So I was like, damn, dude, this guy's so good, but I can't keep him.
Mhm.
So I, you know, looked for other people to edit for me, and um I found one, and it took him 2 months to make a video, and it was not worth the wait.
Mm.
So I was like, I can't have this guy again. He took way too long on this video. It wasn't even a hard video. I'm not gonna lie, I could have done it myself, but I was trying to get out of the habit of doing everything myself.
Mhm. Didn't have the time.
So
Yeah.
then I found another editor, and they were like, "Yeah, this looks awesome. I'll totally do this. Heck yeah, I'm totally down." This is where the curse got worse. This
Mm.
person ended up like, not to bring up old fucking drama, but this
Mm.
person ended up scamming a bunch of Mario runners out of money from a tournament.
Oh.
And they were supposed to edit this video for me. Um and they took my money and
Mm.
never spoke to me again.
Okay. I wonder if it's who I think it is. I'm not gonna say it,
It
obviously, but
probably
yeah,
is.
that's.
It probably
I didn't
is.
know they were an editor. Anyway.
Yeah.
Uh.
So that was the point of my editor curse, where I sat down and I was like, if there is someone watching me, spiting me, please stop. I need an editor, just one, just some human being out there in the universe that's like, oh yeah, I could do that.
Mhm.
Just that's all I needed, you know.
Here's some
And
money.
so
Thank you. Don't do anything cringe.
yeah, exactly. And like, I will admit, I was being a bit picky here
Yeah.
and there because this content isn't your average YouTube editor content. Like speedrunning documentaries is like a very kind of niche style.
Hmm.
And there's a reason why some of the most successful ones do it all themselves because that is the style that they've mastered, and they do it themselves because they know that if they hired someone to try to do it, chances are they wouldn't be able to recreate the style. Because it's so specific, and I wanted that for myself. So I wanted to find an editor that really understood speedrunning documentary content. And well, I didn't find that person, but I did find an editor who made 3 videos for me. And he was a very busy feller, okay? He was very busy with his life and his job. Again, another kind of Hummelden situation
Hmm.
where they just have a life outside of content creation. And one of them did well, the controversial mechanic that changed Resident Evil. And then we had another challenge run video that didn't do that well. In fact, it got age restricted for no reason, which made it flatline.
Classic. Oh my god.
Woo!
Listen,
Good
I've
times.
been
And
on the
then
front lines with like YouTube on Twitter back in the day for speedrun people that have gotten age restricted for no good reason. One of
hey,
my most liked reply is to Team YouTube. Not that I use
that's
Twitter
great.
anymore, but good times were had
Yeah,
back in the day.
for sure. That's probably a banger tweet. And then the third one that he did for me, what is my best performing video ever, which is how speedrunners broke Death Stranding by taking a whiz.
Fantastic. I don't know why you wouldn't click on that. I understand completely.
Exactly. The thumbnail, literally just Sam Porter, aka Norman Reedus, pissing off of a cliff.
That's good.
It's the thumbnail, and it worked, and the title worked, and people clicked on it and had fun. And it's not like the video on my channel that has the most views, but it's definitely the best performing one, and it will probably have the most views soon.
Hmm.
Um, but then after that video, that's all the time I've got.
Yep.
You know, that's what he did.
Man,
So
what Animal Crossing is such a popular game.
right, yeah. Why do
Crazy.
all these editors love Animal Crossing?
Norman
But that
Peter
is like
or Petus,
that is
sorry.
like my yeah, Norman Petus.
That's
It's
it.
no one had made. I wrote a rough draft script for this video back in 2022.
Mm.
But I thought it was too niche for me to make a video on it at that time because I was still really new to stuff. And I
It's
was like,
never
this
too
would do.
niche. It's never.
Yeah, I guess
It's
so.
it's never.
I guess so. But I released this specific video at the perfect time because it was right before the release of Death Stranding 2.
Ah,
So I think not only was it just a hilarious title and thumbnail, it was also feeding off of the hype of the new release, and it just did super well. But yeah, nobody had ever made a video on the Norman Petus, the only like crazy glitch in Death Stranding 1. And I was like, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. YOLO. And
surely
it
there were
worked.
some Pete Run jokes, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Lots
That's
of
good.
lots of pee.
Fantastic. I mean,
But yeah, that is my YouTube journey. A lot of
I
hardships,
know what
some
I'm watching
curses.
after this.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's good. Um and now I have a brand new editor who is actually sticking with me, and
Does
he is
not own
currently
Animal Crossing New Leaf. We're
yeah, he
good.
does not own a
Huge.
Nintendo DS or Animal Crossing. He is not Reggie. Um and yeah,
Finally.
he's working on a big video right now. So should be cool.
Yeah. I've definitely heard some similar stories about YouTube and the struggles, but I'm glad people usually stick with it because, if you know you're making good content, I mean, who cares what the algorithm says, but also I get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the general idea that I like had back when I started the scripted content was like, oh, I want to build my YouTube, but over time it's kind of changed, It's kind of more like I want to tell these stories, and if a lot of people end up finding them, that's awesome. But if not, that's okay too, because the story is still out there for people who will look for it.
mhm,
And sometimes, maybe even people who aren't looking for it will find it. It's important to just tell the stories anyways. Speedrunning history, there are way too many games that have like actual cool like history and like community efforts behind them, and 99% of them will never have like a cool YouTube video made for them.
mhm,
So if I can just be an extra person in that YouTube speedrunning world, like I'm glad to do it, I'm happy to do
mhm.
it. I want to tell some stories.
Yeah, that's one thing I've liked seeing is just there's so many YouTube or speedrun YouTube content creators now, and there's so much content out there that you never really have to, you know, do the same thing as someone else. So like the
Yeah.
content has a unique reason to exist. So and then everyone
Yeah.
has their own styles, even though, and I know you all help each other out a bit too with maybe thumbnails or what title would grab and that kind of stuff. So like I know there's a whole like speedrun YouTube content community as well
Yeah.
to kind
Yeah,
of
we try to help each
help
other
out.
out.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
very
think
very good
that's
people.
cool.
It is super cool, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, YouTube content is what introduced me to the concept of speedrunning almost, what, 9 years ago ish. So, I've always had a soft spot for it, and it's only gotten better, really. So,
And was that what video was that?
okay, so, um, the story I tell is I was looking up like the Mega Man 2 OST, and a summoning salt video popped up instead. Um, yeah, Uh it was the
Hell
first
yeah.
Mega Man 2. It's not public anymore, but there was one before the more professional one done like a few years ago.
Ah, okay.
I don't know why I watched it, but I did, and I was like, that was cool. The next recommended video was Mario 1. Um, Obviously, if you know who I am, that was appealing.
Yeah,
So, that's how that happened. But I didn't know what Twitch was
for
either.
sure.
Like you were saying, I didn't know what Twitch was at that time, and
Same thing happened to you. That's
yeah,
so
that
funny.
introduced me to Twitch. So the next day I made an account just to follow the people in the video, and after watching it enough, you're like, all right, I can do it. Here we are.
Yeah, for
190
sure.
world records later, it's fine.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
counting? Uh,
You might have even like, found some games you like never even knew too, because there's a lot of
oh yeah, like,
Mario Bros content out there that you might not know about exactly. So,
mhm.
yeah.
Well, what helped for me is like the like content is so captivating to me is I'll watch it on like almost any game and find it interesting. Like games I don't care about. Like I know I've seen all of Summoning Salt's YouTube history, and 80% of the games I've maybe or like 95% of the games I've never played, and then half of them I probably would have no interest in even watching. More than that, but I've seen every one. And then that's the same for like some other YouTuber speedrun YouTubers, but like it's good stuff. It really is. It helps.
Hell yeah.
And it's actually helped me like make more friends in the community because I wouldn't like know of this run and then I see it and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And then at an event it's like, "Oh, hey, I care about the community now because this video got me a little interested." And then it's cool. It helps.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, educational, informative content about speedrunning. I think it helps more than just like watching the old grind.
Yeah. I mean, the grind's cool and all, but after a while, even viewers are gonna get burnt out. That's just
Hmm.
how it is. But the content keeps things fresh. Um, Obviously, more and more people now um kind of just care more about the final product, I think. Like they might not sit through the grind. Like you're either a grind watcher or content watcher, kind of. There's some overlap here
Hmm.
and there, but usually that's like the two ballparks I fall, or I assume people fall under. But um, as long as people are watching, right?
Of course.
Um, and yeah, I mean, speedrunning obviously has grown a lot since people started making content on it. So
Yeah.
W's all around, I think. It's helped
Oh,
me,
totally.
that's for sure. So, and I know I've had so many people on my show now, obviously. I've done a lot of episodes, and they've had
Yeah.
similar stories like, oh, yeah, I saw this video. I didn't know what it was. And I was like, oh, cool. And now they speed run,
Yeah.
sometimes professionally
Hmm.
or, as a job. And it's like, what?
People do this?
People do this? It's crazy.
I do this.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I could keep this podcast forever because there's just so many people that do it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, it's
sick. Speedrunning cool.
that's yeah, once you get to like episode 300 something.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We got like 3.5 years. So I am
How long
coming
have you
up
been doing
on
this?
I've done I mean, episode 154 this is. I've released one every week since I started. I think like I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but that's 3 years in total.
Wow, yeah, that is actually pretty long.
Yeah, I've been doing
That's
good.
long.
Year 4
Yeah,
begins soon. Stay tuned. Nothing's gonna
that's
change
sick.
at all. I haven't changed anything about the show since I started. If
If it
I'm
ain't broke,
nothing,
don't
if not
fix it.
consistent.
Hell
So.
yeah.
But we have fun here, right? Something like that.
I've had fun.
That's good. Um, Love to hear that. Um, I do want to touch more on like speedrun events. I know we would touch on it here and there, but
Hmm.
I assume there's a lot of marathon runs you've done, GDQ especially, that we haven't gone over. So if you want to kind of
Yeah, I mean, like, I think my recent one, Fear 2, just a few weeks ago, that was like my 11th GDQ run. So
that's a few.
that's a pretty decent amount. Like, all things considered, there's only 2 GDQs a year.
Yeah.
Um,
I
or
haven't
two
even
mainline
been to
GDQs.
11 GDQs yet. This was my 10th, this
Oh,
past
okay,
one.
okay.
So
Yeah. Well, two of the runs that I did for GDQ were online.
online, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I have been attending every GDQ that was in person since AGDQ 2016. So I've gone to
Wow.
every single one.
I've gone to
Um,
every single one since summer 2018 except for summer 2019. So,
ah, you
I've
know
been around
what?
a bit too.
Yeah, no, that's funny because that's kind of when we started moving to the Bloomington Hotel
For
for
summer?
SGDQ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
Wait,
the DoubleTree.
the DoubleTree. The DoubleTree. That's it. Yeah, the
The
DoubleTree.
first event I went to was the DoubleTree, and I wasn't there for 2019, and then the next one would have been 2022, which was the DoubleTree, but that was like the
Hmm.
crazy COVID times. We weren't ready yet,
Yeah,
and then
we
they moved to
weren't.
the Hilton. Then they moved to the
We
Hilton.
were not ready. The Hilton's awesome. I love
I
I
I
I
love
love
it.
that location.
That is my
Yeah.
favorite GDQ. Like I know people liked Orlando. It was nice. It's also Florida. I like I like Minneapolis a lot
Yeah.
actually.
That Hilton location's perfect.
Perfect
Um
time of the year.
yeah.
Like
I
Just
am curious to see Atlanta though. I am
I yeah.
curious.
It can't be the temperature can't be worse than Pittsburgh, so I'm okay
No
with
way.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, GDQ, like, having been to so many and also having done so many runs, like I've seen a lot of the evolution of the event.
Hmm.
Um and I think, like, doing that many runs, like, I'm obviously like pretty lucky to have all those runs accepted. Um but I also do think it's interesting because a lot of people do know me as, like, what are my cats doing? They know me as like the horror speedrunner,
Yeah.
right? But like a lot of the runs that I've done at GDQ aren't horror runs. I've done Jet
Hmm.
Set Radio, Devil May Cry. I wouldn't even call Fear a horror run. It's a first person shooter speed run, if anything. And I've done Devil May Cry twice and Fear twice. And then I did Lord of the Rings, Shenmue. So like a lot of runs that I've done at GDQ aren't horror runs, and then the horror runs that I have done, like Fatal Frame, Resident Evil 7, End of Zoe, Granny, the anthology. Is that it?
Really?
Yeah, that,
Well, I assume
not many
you
horror
couch a
games.
lot of horror though, right? So they like
Oh
see
yeah,
yeah, they see your face at least. So I get to see the
yeah.
association.
They do see my face a lot. I did a whole 9 to 5 shift at AGDQ this time.
Really?
Pretty much. It
Jeez.
started at what, like 10:30 or 11 p.m.
Jeez.
and that was Silent Hill F. And then I couched the next run, which was R2 Remake. Then I had a 30-minute break for Amnesia, uh, the bunker. And then after that 30-minute break, I was back on stage setting up for Fear 2.
Mm,
Did my Fear 2 run, had another 30-minute break with Kiosk, and then I got back on the couch for Fatal Frame 2.
busy.
And then when everything was said and done, it was like almost 8 in the morning.
Jeez. Yep.
Um,
I can't do that.
yeah, it was wild. My eyes were totally shot by the end of that because of all the lights and stuff. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
um, I have been on a ton of couches over the years. Just because like I guess I'm just a reliable guy to have on the couch.
Yeah.
Good vibes. I can supply commentary, wherever it needs to be had. It's
Hmm.
definitely something I've specialized at and gotten better at over time for sure. Um, but there definitely are some runs where I I want to like get the game back into GDQ because I'm not fully happy with it being the only showcase of the game. Like, for instance, Fatal Frame 1. I did that back in 2020 in Orlando,
Hmm.
and looking back at the run, it's like, yeah, I did pretty well on stage, but the routing has changed a bit. There are some cooler setups for the boss fights. I want to run it back like real bad. Um, and maybe one day I'll get that opportunity, but there are a lot of runs that I look back on and I'm like, yeah, like I could have done better, but overall, 99.9% of people watching, they don't know that.
Hmm.
They don't know if it was like a crazy good run or not. They just wanted to watch a fun speed run and donate to charity.
That's all that matters.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, I think it kind of helped that Jet Set Radio was such a disaster at first. It helped my mindset that my first ever GDQ run was just, it started out so bad. And because it drilled into my head, like, it didn't actually matter that it went so badly, like gaming PC crashes, streaming PC balloon screens, I do the run, I come under estimate. It couldn't get worse than that, you know? Just that sequence of events in that first 10 minutes of the run, it couldn't get worse than that. And then they brought me back the next event And that was my mindset. I was like, whatever happens, happens. We're rolling with it. We're just gonna try to have fun.
It can't be worse.
It can't be worse than Jet Set
It's
Radio, and
only up
it
from
never
here.
has been.
That's
It's
good.
never been worse than Jet Set Radio. So that, and I think it's because like I had that mindset. I think some of the best runs, or at least the ones that I think are the most well received, are the recent ones that I've done. Like Granny,
Yeah.
Granny, people still talk about that run in their donation messages.
Mm.
Like when me or Starwin show up on stage, someone will donate and be like, "Hey, I remember you from Granny," and it's like epic. That's so sick.
Is this the legacy you want?
Honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Granny is actually like that much fun. I'm totally fine with if anyone remembers a GDQ run that I did, if it's Granny, hell yeah.
I remember
I'm cool with
Granny.
that. Yeah. Super fun. But yeah, like they definitely like a lot of the experience that I've had at GDQ has helped with just me being on like so many couches and has made me so much more comfortable on stage, especially with like recent runs. Because that Fear 2 run that I did a couple weeks ago was probably one of like the hardest runs I've ever done on stage, and I was pretty nervous.
Mhm.
Even though that was my 11th run, you think I wouldn't be nervous, but I was. So, because it's just that hard of a game.
Yeah.
But
The nerves never
yeah,
really go away either. At least, do you have it where like the first 2 minutes are like holy shit, and then it's fine.
yeah, I found that like the first couple of minutes, it helps to just talk,
Mm.
even if you're like totally just yapping. It's good to get it out because once you've gotten it out, you don't feel
Smooth sailing.
the pressure as much anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard some similar mindsets at the start of GDQ runs. For me, it's always been
yeah,
the same. So,
for sure.
but
I mean, I think everybody's brains are different with that type of that type of pressure and like having that many eyes on you and whatnot.
mm, it is a lot when you think about it. So you got to not think about it in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, got to try really hard not to. Sometimes you can't help it, but
Yeah, it's just you in the
yeah,
game. Just don't look behind you.
just don't look behind you.
Everything's
And
fine.
remember, you're not on any website.
There aren't 50,000 people watching. It's fine. It's
Mm-hmm.
just you in the game and some voices in your head. They're not actually there.
Yeah.
And that's the GDQ experience.
Yeah. Being an attendee though,
Hell yeah.
the time the times where I like don't have that many obligations, like I'll couch like a couple runs, but then the rest of the week I'm just chilling. GDQ is awesome. That's why I
Yeah.
go every time.
Hmm.
It's just a good time.
Yeah,
It's a great time.
I had a big streak of runner stuff, but I know summer last year. Well, technically, I was a backup this time, and I didn't have to do anything other than the relay. But
Hmm.
yeah, last summer I was finally an attendee again. I was chilling. It was great.
Yeah, big chilling.
Big
The relay
chilling.
was fun.
Relay, yeah, that was
The
the
relay
thing.
was fun.
I'm glad that worked out. Honestly, that was a lot. But
I had my doubts.
yeah, I mean,
When I first saw that on the schedule, I was like, how do you even expect to pull this off?
no,
But
I did have it where I've been in all of Joey's relays. Um, so I knew it was
you had an
possible.
idea.
Yeah, I had an idea, and they were able to do it with an event that was far less technically prepared. So
For sure.
GDQ nailed it though. That worked out so well.
Yeah, yeah, it did work out really well. Um yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah.
I hadn't even played Mario 64 for like 12 years. I don't even know what caused me to sign up.
You're, I know what caused me. I was in 3 of them. I need to be in all 4.
Yeah, yeah. You were
We
like,
did
hell
it.
yeah, I'll run it back.
I'll run it back for the 4th time,
Yeah,
and that I
I don't
did.
know. I was like, I think I was in the GDQ Discord, and the sign up sheet was posted. It was like really early in the morning, and I was like, I think I was in bed. I was like in bed, like ready to sleep, and Joey was just like, everybody should sign up right now, and I was like, what? Like everybody? I,
I'm everybody.
I think I'm included in that. Should I? Should I? And then I forgot who said it, but somebody literally added me and said, "Dude, sign up." I was,
Hell
and I
yeah.
was like, "Okay, all right." Twist my arm, why don't you? Jeez. And so I signed up, and I wasn't expecting anything. I was
Mhm.
not expecting to get picked whatsoever. And then, yeah, it was just like, "You're doing logless," and I was like,
That's a fun
"Okay."
one.
It
I
was. It
like
was
the movement
fun.
for it.
Yeah, I kind of flubbed up a little bit.
I think
Um,
everyone flubbed up a little bit.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's true. Except, well, what JJ's second try carpet list
that was pretty
was
hype.
pretty crazy.
That was pretty hype.
Yeah, that was sick.
Hey, last time Beeve got it first try though, so like that was pretty
Hard to
sick.
beat that,
Hard to beat that. But yeah, I think
yeah,
everyone fucked up their star.
for sure.
I
Yeah,
know I did. Although I didn't die. So that was good. Because I had the
you
star
did die.
where if you fuck up the last jump, you die and have to do it again. So glad that didn't happen. I fucked up
Just don't
everything else
do
though.
that.
Yeah. I did just
Yeah,
not do that. I just fucked up everything else. Which,
eh,
is fine.
it's fine. In the grand scheme of things, I think obviously like there were some crazy mess ups, but I think it was like good that
It was great
everybody kind of
content.
messed up a
Yeah,
bit.
no.
Yeah,
That was
that's what made it great.
fantastic content.
It was like very authentic, you know?
My favorites were when a blindfolded person like fucks up and then they retry and then nail it. It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And everybody in the crowd and probably at home are just kind of like laughing because there's like the blindfolded runners will just have that confused like head
what the
head
yeah,
shake. They're
yeah,
just like, what, where am I? And everyone's just like, oh, he doesn't even know.
yeah. I
That
mean,
part's fun.
it's just so real, I guess. Like
It's super real.
these are 70 plus people, all of varying skill levels, that's for sure.
Hmm.
And a lot of which were purposely chosen because they haven't played much. So it's like, hey, you can learn something and do it.
Yeah,
And it's I don't
like
know.
Jaxler picking a 10 out of 10 difficulty.
You want to hear
Mad
some
lad.
crazy lore about that is air strafing, right? That's what
Hmm.
it was
Yeah,
all
yeah.
about. Um my friend who's like a Mario 64 tasser was playing back one of the tasses from like a few years ago. They used air strafing. This is real. It's actually tech.
That there's got to be some overlap. Jaxler is ahead of the game. He should just pick up the game, even though he resents it.
Something like that.
He could become a god.
Yeah. I mean, I think, there hasn't been a 120 star task in a decade, but I think a new one's coming out this year. Pretty sure that's what they're aiming for.
Okay,
We'll see if there's more air strafing because um I forgot
please.
what level it was, and again, it was older, like a few
Hmm.
years, so I'm not sure, but like I was like, holy shit, there it is.
There it is.
It might have been just for fun. I don't know if it was like actually useful tech, but
I
Mario was
mean,
going left and right. He was
it
doing
was a
it.
task.
Yeah, it was a task, and it was doing it.
It had to have been tech.
Exactly. So There's the lore.
That's some sick lore. Very
It
deep
is
lore.
it is deep. I have lots of deep lore in my noodle. This is what happens when you go to every GDQ and I've done 154 podcast episodes.
Oh, for sure, yeah. You've
Dear
probably
Lord.
heard some crazy stuff.
But yeah, I don't know. What have we not gone over? I know we didn't like deep dive into any game specific stuff really, but I don't know how much is of that's podcast worthy to you.
I mean, nothing that like comes to mind that's like
just
super
watch your
like
content, right? That's what to do.
Resident Evil 9 is literally coming out in like a month.
Ooh.
Um and I'm currently doing something I've never done before with the series. Because every single time there's a new game, like I'll do like a story marathon to catch everybody up on like every single game because there's 20 like 8 of them.
Jesus
So
Christ.
people are like, oh, I've never even seen this one, and I'm like, well, that's why I'm playing it, so you can see it. But this time I'm doing something different. I'm going to learn the speed run for the rest of the games I don't know how to speed run. I'm
Hmm.
gonna try and learn every single one before Requiem comes out, and I'm gonna try to do a full series speed run. So not in one stream, but one timer
Oh, okay.
every single game.
Do you have a rough estimate on how long you think it'll take?
No.
Fair enough.
I'm just doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can do it before the 26th of February. That's the idea.
Well, surely that's possible. Just start right
I think
now.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started earlier. I did RE1 and I learned the two categories that I'm going to run. The Jill 90%, Chris best ending.
Okay. So,
So,
uh,
off to a good start.
yes, on the road, the journey has begun. But yeah, I know beating, what'd you say? There's 28 games? What?
Yeah, something like that.
What?
Something like that. Here, let me
I thought there were 9. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's wait,
what's
one.
the point of numbers? Do they mean
So
anything
it's
anymore?
Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Survivor, Code Veronica, Gun Survivor 2, Gaiden, RE1 Remake, RE0, Dead Aim, uh, Outbreak, Outbreak File 2, Resident Evil 4, Umbrella Chronicles 5, Darkside Chronicles, 3D Mercenaries, Revelations, Operation Raccoon City 6, Revelations 2, Umbrella Corps, Resident Evil 7, RE2 Remake, RE3 Remake, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
That's a lot of words and numbers.
Yeah, there's granted, some of these games are ass. Okay.
Well, that's good
Um
though, you know. Again, as I was
like
saying, bad games, great speedruns sometimes.
for sure. They can be, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But most of them are good. Some of them are ass, most of them are good. And I've just never sat down and actually like learned all of them until now.
Well, good timing. It's all for a
Hmm.
purpose.
Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, that's just a fun content idea too. Plus, lots of well, how varied are the games in terms of how they work?
Um actually quite varied
That's good.
because like, Resident Evil like 1, 2, and 3 and Code Veronica, they're all like the OG tank control, fixed
Hmm.
camera angle type of thing going on.
Yep.
But then uh stuff like Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles, they're rail shooters.
Hmm.
So totally different. And then you have stuff like, the modern era of Resident Evil where you have Resident Evil 7 and Village or first person, you know, games. Um so they do vary quite a bit. Then you have Guidance, a Game Boy Color game,
Oh my God,
completely
no.
different. Um
Dear God.
yeah, so the series is a little bit all over the place. You've got some like over the shoulder action games with 4, 5, 6, Operation Raccoon City, Umbrella Corps. Then you've got your OG titles. You know, it's very it's very all over the place, which is like you said, good.
Yeah, because we were talking about like how horror games. There's a lot of subgenres in the genre, and it's nice to keep it varied. So you could do that not just in the genre, but in the franchise. That's good.
Yeah, right.
I did not know there were that many. I mean, you take a guess how many Resident Evils I played.
3?
0.
Damn.
Yeah, good try though. So,
Well, maybe one day.
maybe one. That's what I say about every game though. Maybe one day, but then the backlog becomes 500 games, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
That's fair. Relatable.
We'll see though. I do have some old PlayStation. I have a PS1, so it's not. There were Resident Evils for PS1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a GameCube, which I know, RE4. That's what it was known for at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Got a couple of GameCube RE games.
Yeah, we'll see.
RE1 remake. They're all like getting really expensive though.
Well, don't worry. I have my ways.
Ah,
Yeah. So,
good.
yeah. But anyway, so that's what to look forward to in terms of your content then. Lots of Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And then I assume when the new game comes out, plenty of speedruns of that.
Yeah, probably. We'll see how it turns out as a speed game.
Yeah.
We'll
I guess
see.
you never really know until it happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what we run into every single new release. We're just like, oh yeah, this is going to be epic. And then sometimes it is epic, and then other times it's like, oh man, what happened?
you were saying like what was it, Village was really popular as a speed game?
Village, yeah, RE2 remake and Village were definitely like the more popular ones
Mm-hmm.
until RE4 remake. I think then it started to kind of stagnate.
I see.
So I think RE9 will probably not have like as much of a boom as RE2 remake and Village. But like you said, you never know.
You never know. It's a gamble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then sounds like you had a piece of content in the works as well. Don't need to leak anything, but it does exist.
I did mention it on the GDQ stage. It is
okay.
it is a very like large documentary of the history of the Fear speedrun.
Okay.
And there's just like a lot of there's just a lot going on with that video. So it's going to be like an over an hour of just like solid
Jeez.
documentary content.
Okay. Damn.
It'll be sick.
All right. Well, I ask everything I usually ask. I mean, so I do always say, is there anything in your history that you'd like to go over that we haven't?
Anything specific that I think would be like relevant or important?
Yeah. Doesn't even have to be relevant or important. But that's up to you.
that's fair.
You're the guest here.
Fair.
I just ask like 2 questions and you do all the work, okay?
Oh man, I don't know.
Hey, if there's nothing, that means I did my job good, right? I think that's what that
You
means.
did. Yeah,
okay.
We went over so much. I have 2 cats. Their names are Dante and Sophidia.
Hell
and
yeah.
They're awesome. And I just got them like a year ago.
All right.
That
would have
cool.
been tragic if we didn't talk about that. So I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
Have to mention them.
No, that actually important. We've had some like animal cam happen sometimes, and it's always pop off moment, you know.
Honestly, I'm shocked because they were in here earlier, and I was thinking like one of them's gonna hop on my lap maybe, but nope. No,
Well,
don't cameo.
Not a fan of the content, unfortunate, but we can't win them all.
Yeah, true. Camera shy sometimes.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I guess we can wrap it up then. Sounds like we did a good job here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No,
That
thank
was
you for
fun.
coming on. I'm glad Discord allowed it to happen. For
Yeah.
those who don't know, we tried to do it last night and Discord literally just stopped working. So that was fun. But luckily,
Episode.
I got snowed in, so I didn't have to go to work this morning. So podcast, yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Well, so the last thing I'll ask then, have a little bit of like future plans there, but any like long-term plans or goals you're looking forward to in terms of both streaming or just content? Maybe future GDQ
Um,
submissions. Mm.
future GDQ submissions. Yeah, SGDQ. I'm gonna submit. Uh, Evil Nun: The Broken Mask, Visage, Fatal Frame, Resident Evil 9. If I feel like I want to be a top contender for it,
Ooh.
and fifth undecided game.
I feel like RE9 would be a definite for the next GDQ because it fits
Oh,
in
for
like the
sure.
new release
Yeah.
game window. So
Yeah. If but that's if I want to be like at the tippity top.
yeah, yeah.
I know quite a few of my friends who like are probably gonna grind RE9 super hard and they're gonna try to submit it too.
Well,
So
listen, if anything, you'll probably at least be on the couch, right? So
like
you'll
99%
you'll be
sure.
involved in some way.
Yeah. I'm always happy to do commentary. So
Yeah. I've seen many a run with your face on the couch behind the runners.
yeah. Yeah, apart from those submissions, like I don't know. I'm just gonna keep on doing my thing. And I'm just hoping that this year I finally, like I said, like I have an editor who wants to stay with me. I'm gonna break the YouTube curse. Gonna be
Mm.
more consistent with it. I'm gonna tell the stories that I want to tell, and I'm gonna be able to just less chaos, you know, less
Less stress.
more. You know, I want to cruise a little bit.
Yeah,
You know,
you want that kind of flat line, not the other flat line. Yeah,
precisely.
exact. I understand. I understand. Um, I was gonna bring up one more thing, but then it slipped my mind. Whoops. Oh well. Um, but yeah, so well, obviously I'll ask where your socials and where to watch your content and all that. Yeah, I mean, true.
They're right here. Twitch.tv/Maxylobes. And my YouTube channel. That too.
It's true.
It's over here. Oh my god, I'm pointing in the wrong spot.
It's close enough. It is on stream.
It's there.
It's also in the YouTube description. It's also I just did the shout out command. No. I know what I'm doing.
Perfect.
I know what I'm doing, I
Hell yeah.
think. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm trying to be more consistent with YouTube. I just stream all the time. I'm like I've been streaming for 10 plus years and I am not sick of it.
That's good.
So,
Actually, I remember what I was going to ask. It was like when you started, because you've pursued this full time.
mhm.
When did that start exactly?
Well, I mean, I streamed every day. Like once I started, I didn't stop. Like I just streamed every single day
Okay.
until like I did that for like 2.5 years, I think. I did not miss a day, and it was bad.
Wow.
Don't do
Yeah,
that.
I was going to say, that's
Don't
crazy.
do that. Take breaks, dude. Have a day off.
So what,
Um,
like 800 days in a row?
it
Holy
was
shit.
like I probably only missed days where I was like fatally ill from the GD flu.
Ah, true.
That was probably it. But
Been there.
even then, I would stream like sore throat, coughing, and
Oh
all.
my god.
It was not good. But um, well, I mean, like I got partnered literally a year after I started streaming.
Okay.
So like full time, like hey, I can actually turn this into a career happened very quickly for me. Um, But obviously, like just because you know, get like partner doesn't really mean you can turn it into a career. There's like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff you have to do after. But again, I think just consistency and just, you know, a little hint of luck every now and again really did kind of help me build, and also the fact that like my parents supported it.
Hmm.
Without all of these things working together, probably wouldn't be in the position I am right now. So I am very thankful for all of that. Um, and hopefully I will be able to just continue.
Hmm. Doesn't sound like you have any thoughts about stopping, so that's good.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
it's hard to maintain motivation for so long, but people will find a way if you're passionate enough, you know. And here we are.
Yeah.
So that's good. Well, uh, that's all I got. I think it's done.
Okay.
You know, I've done this enough where I should know what I'm doing, but I don't.
Well, I think it was a job well done.
Well, thank you. It's nice to have some validation. Well, yes, we did the shout outs. Uh, yep, that's everything. Really can't think of anything other than to just say goodbye. So, uh, new episode next week, as always, probably. I mean, I haven't missed a week in 154 weeks, so surely I won't start now. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for coming on the show. And
Thank you for having me.
yep, stay safe out there. I'm horribly snowed in right now, so if you're suffering too, good luck. All right. Well, see ya. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.